Hey guys, today I'm super excited to talk to you about the new film Imaginary. Now, this movie comes to theaters on March 8th, and listen, it feels like Megan and the Boogeyman had a baby. That baby's a teddy bear. It's named Chauncey Bear, and it's terrifying, and it has a mean streak like Megan does. Now, listen, this movie is scarier than Megan for sure. But it's not as scary as The Boogeyman. It feels like a perfect combination of the two. It's a great horror introduction film. For those who are looking to get into horror, there's a lot of jump scares. There's some gore, although there were a few times and a few scenes where I was like, man, I wish this had been R-rated because we could have really gone fully there. You know what I mean? They could have really brought the gore and the insanity in those moments, which of course they weren't able to do because of the PG-13 rating, but I'm not mad at it. Literally, I came home and told my daughter, my 11-year-old, if you guys have been around the channel for a while, you know Lori. I was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna love Imaginary, because she's such a big fan of Megan. It's one of her favorite films currently. It was definitely her favorite film of last year. And so I really think Imaginary kind of hits the same sort of vibes as Megan. It's a lot of fun. There's some cheesy dialogue, some ridiculous moments, that, you know, everything that goes into the perfect cult classic horror film. And then there's the jump scares, actually really intriguing lore, a good story, and then the entire third act, the set for the entire third act is what I will say. I don't want to give too much away. Is incredible. It's very intricate. It's very well done. I did the pop-up here in LA for Imaginary, and it feels exactly the same. It's crazy how intense it is. It's nuts. But I really enjoyed that third act. Now, probably my biggest complaint of Imaginary is that it almost takes too long to get to that third act. And that's not saying that the things that happen throughout the first two acts are bad, because they're not. It just feels like it makes the whole movie feel longer than it is. It's an hour 45, and I did get out of it thinking, was this 2 hours long? Oh, it was only an hour 45. Okay. It does make it feel a little bit longer, just because that setup, which is a really good setup, but you're like on the edge of your seat waiting for it to really get there. But once it does, it hits the ground running and it doesn't stop. I will say also that opening scene will immediately hook a lot of people. The opening sequence was insane. It was a lot of fun. Again, it's this fun kind of horror where like you jump and then you laugh and you giggle and then something's happening in the background while people are talking and you're like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Those sort of things. And because of the setup is really like that, it does take a little while, like I said, to get to that third act. But once they do, it's well worth that wait. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything really bad. There's this neighbor kid. His name's Liam. He's not bad per se. He gives a lot of great, ridiculous dialogue, right? He's funny. He's the campy character. There's a lot of great horror moments surrounding him. But it just feels like they definitely could have pulled him out of the story. Wasn't really there to drive the plot forward at all. They just really needed another body to have some things happen with Chauncey, I think is what was happening there. So if they had pulled him out, maybe it would have flowed a little better. I'm not sure. Again, not mad at the character. Was very entertained by what went down surrounding him. It just felt a little out of place at times. So basically, essentially, this story is there's this woman, Jessica. She has two stepdaughters, Taylor and Alice. And they decide, you know, she's struggling. She's an author, a children's author, and she's kind of struggling with writer's block. She's having these nightmares, and her husband, Max, suggests, well, hey, why don't we move to your childhood home? Your dad's in an assisted facility now. Let's move there. They move there. Alice finds Chauncey Bear, and, well, the rest, things get off the wall and a little crazy. Now, it doesn't take long for them to get to the house. That's not really part of the setup. They pretty much go there right from the beginning, which I think is important to really set up this house and the things that have happened in this house surrounding maybe Jessica when she was a child as well. And then, of course, surrounding Alice now. Now, the girl who plays Alice is incredible. She's so good at capturing so many of these moments with Chauncey and then also with Jessica and with her sister Taylor. These three really do feel like a stepmother and two stepdaughters. They feel like sisters at times. It's a very well done. Now, while I do wish we got more of the father, because I think he's great, they kind of get him out of the house real quick. He goes on a tour with his band, and it's like, okay, he's gone. It makes sense though, because they really needed to surround these three women, these three girls in the story. Again, I do wish we had more of him. He was great when he was in it, but alas, I understand their reasoning. Just like I understand why they kept the neighbor in, because there's a lot of great moments with him, a lot of great scare moments that really set up for the future. But at the same time, you're kind of like, what else was he here to do? You know, we could have had these moments with somebody else, perhaps. I'm not really sure who, but it would have, there's something that could have worked better here. But overall, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Again, there's a lot of great jump scares. I love a jump scare. And I love a moment when someone's talking and something's creepy happening behind them and they have no idea. And there's a lot of those wrapped up throughout this entire film. Again, it's very M3GAN-esque, although it takes a little bit longer to really get there. Unlike with M3GAN, M3GAN's pretty evil. It doesn't take very long to get there. I love Chauncey though. Like, I want a Chauncey bear for myself. So, you know, if you're watching this Blumhouse Lionsgate, I would love a Chauncey to come to my house. I would love to hang out with a Chauncey. Very, very cool. I love how he's just this little ordinary stuffed bear. Reminds me of a stuffed bear I had as a kid. And it's quite terrifying when you think about it now. There was a lot to love about this movie. It's fun. It's definitely going to be another Blumhouse horror cult classic. It's a good time to watch. It's one you can watch over and over again. I can't wait to watch it again with my family, with my kids, because I know they're really going to enjoy it. And it's one of those movies that you're just like, it's a good time. It's a fun ride. It's like a romp of a horror film, if that makes sense. It's really just a lot of fun. There's twists and turns towards the end. There was something I did not see coming that happened. There was a few things I definitely saw coming. A lot of movies like this are predictable, and that's fine because it still works. But there was something I didn't see coming that was a lot of fun. I obviously don't want to give that away. But you guys let me know if you're going to be checking out Imaginary down below in the comments. If by the time you got to this review, you've already seen it, let me know what you thought. Overall, I really just thought this was a fun horror movie in the same kind of realm as M3GAN. Not as scary as the Boogeyman, but definitely pulled those vibes with the whole basement thing, which you guys will see in the movie. It definitely kind of gave that same sort of vibe. And surprisingly, there's a little bit of heart weaved into this movie, a little bit of emotional moments. Didn't shed a tear, but definitely was like, oh, my heart. So listen, I had fun with it. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 because I had a good time. You guys, again, let me know what you thought down below in the comments. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and you guys can check me out at MamasGeeky.com. Thanks. I'll see you next time.